From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is The Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, comedian Ian Edwards. With Gina Grad on news, Bald Brian on sound effects, a little talk with Sonny Carolla, and Dave Damashek is here for good sports. And now, still buzzing about the U.S. Women's Soccer Championship, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on Mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing. We love that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian.
You've dropped me.
Sonny Carolla in studio. I just gathered Sonny up and I took him with me today, and he just happened to be around, and we were talking about life on the way in. First off, Sonny.
Yeah.
Feelings on soccer.
I don't know. It's pretty boring to watch.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's quite boring to play.
Yep. Sucks.
I
That's
don't
everything you need to know.
understand the getting tapped on the shoulder and falling over and you miraculously broke your leg.
Games. Yep. All right. My work is done with you.
Congratulations.
You hate soccer.
You created
You're now
a Jim
a man.
Carolla.
He hates soccer. I love that about this boy. I was, Sonny's getting ready to leave town for one of his 6-day basketball tournaments in Vegas. Remember when your folks would buy I was going to say pack up the wagon, but buy the plane tickets and
Sure.
get the
Yeah.
hotel rooms, and you just
Cross
go to
state
Vegas
line.
for a week and
Yep.
play basketball?
Extend it for a little extra, me time.
Well, they're going from Vegas to Chicago then. They're going to hang out there for a
That's
week
what I'm saying.
after
Yeah.
that. Right, Sonny?
Yeah.
So
What's in Chicago?
Oh, a lot of my cousins live there, so we get to see them
Right.
around summertime.
Your cousin Bruce?
Cousin Brucey? So he's going...
How many cousins named Bruce do you have? 2, 3, 4.
He's going. He's going out to Chicago. So he's going to be gone for like 12 days.
Something like that. I'm not really sure how long because
Right.
Mom just said we're leaving on the 10th.
Right, but you'll be gone.
There's no return ticket.
I'm going to miss you. You're going to miss Phil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our relationship. And
Just you and Natalia, some daddy-daughter.
Yeah, how's that going to go down?
Oh no, she's going to Chicago.
Oh.
she's going.
She's
Yeah.
meeting you in Chicago?
What?
She's meeting you in Chicago after Vegas?
I think she's gonna. See, we have cousins in town right now, so I think she's gonna go back with them
Oh, okay. She'll
on
be
like the
escorted.
12th or something, and then she's gonna be there for like 3 days longer than me and Mom but we'll be in Vegas. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Remember, in Vegas,
Yeah.
you're in charge of the room service, right?
Yeah.
Don't go nuts on that room service.
Room service. Well, it's Vegas, so there's a lot of restaurants that are a little better than room service. So
Okay, Dad.
that'll be
All right.
manageable.
God.
Okay. All right. Enjoy. I hope you're enjoying your life, Sonny.
I am.
And again, once again, my goal is to be rich enough to live the life that Sonny leads.
You'll
Worthy
get there.
goal.
You'll
Yeah.
get there, yeah.
You never know.
Keep plugging away.
I may fall. I may slip at a Costco and sue them
Yeah.
for all they're worth. Or maybe a Tracy Morgan type situation
yeah.
happens.
Aim for the
try.
stars. Maybe I'll get the moon.
So, Sonny, you were explaining to me that you were lamenting going back to school.
Yeah.
You've been off for 3 weeks.
Yeah, you still got what, like 6, 7 weeks left? Ish?
Like a month.
Oh,
So,
poor
like,
thing.
Come
He
on.
has dread about sitting there because it's a dread for boys, especially super active boys, to be locked down in a
Right.
class while the sun is shining. They have a kind of a dread, even a little
it
bit.
drains your will.
It's a phobia. Like it's like when you're a young boy, all you want to do is run around, and then someone goes, "Go in there, shut the door, and sit down."
Right, put on your
And
5-point harness.
Super boring middle-aged broad is going to pontificate about the Civil War, and you're going to just sit there
Yeah.
dormant, and it freaks the kids out. Yes.
what's kind of insult to injury is I don't know if it's going to be like this for 8th grade, but in 7th grade, there was the part of the building that had all the classes was up on the 3rd floor, and right next at the left side of each class there was a big window,
Oh, that's nice.
and you could look out,
Yeah.
and
Dream.
all you would see was this big, long field with just like a bunch of little toddlers because there's like a preschool right next to our school or something.
You wanted to get out on that field and run
yeah,
around.
and there's just a bunch of toddlers just running and running and running. So
But they don't let you play like football or dodgeball or any of the good stuff,
oh no,
right?
too violent.
Too violent, too violent. Why teach anyone how to compete? Certainly wouldn't want them to learn how to compete. Just put them in a fetal position, see if they can get to their own junk.
We're not to go outside, but if you do, definitely don't do any of these things.
It's so sad. Yeah. Anyway, I was thinking about pulling you out of school and just raising you.
Yay!
Oh,
I'm really wondering what school's even for anymore. You have a computer, you can learn everything. I mean, look at me. I'm an expert on the Partridge Family, and I didn't learn that in a classroom. I did the work in front of the TV set.
what he knows he
drunk.
can't teach.
Yeah. So you're dreading going back to school,
Yes.
but before that, you get to go to Vegas and play 151 basketball games.
Yeah.
All right. And then you get to go to Chicago and eat your weight in deep dish pizza.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the details.
Sausage and
then-
sweet peppers.
And then you get to go to Laguna Seca.
Well, that's when school starts.
Yeah, but you won't be in class,
Yeah,
Jack.
that's a nice transition
true.
into
That's
school.
for suckers.
That's
You're gonna
extra credit.
That's the best part about the beginning of the only good part about the beginning of the year. Maybe football season, but that's like a month into school.
I was thinking about your mom being gone for all that time, and I thought, the thing about travel and being away, there's sort of there's three parts. There's how do you get away? Like how do you not have to do whatever it is you have to
negotiate
do
that
here?
time?
So it's
Yeah.
negotiating getting away. You should figure that part out. And then there's two bummer parts of traveling for an extended period of time: money,
Yeah.
and inevitably you put on weight because you're just eating and eating
Right.
and eating. Lynette has neither concern for either category.
She's immune.
She can't put weight on, and
superhero.
as far as the money goes, I'll be here pedaling that bike. So she's funded,
Wow.
and she doesn't gain weight. So imagine just going like every night. It's like you want deep dish pizza and banana splits afterward. Like, let's do it.
Traveling with impunity.
Did
Oh,
she
man.
save an orphanage full of kittens in a former life? Because she is
They're paying her
really-
back.
God love her.
Yeah.
You get all the good genes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sonny?
Yeah.
All right. So going to Vegas, spending daddy's money.
Uh-huh.
Going to Chicago, spending daddy's money. Hey, you're not flying first class, are you?
No.
Daddy
we're-
flies coach.
Yeah. No, we're not.
It's a short flight.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more to Chicago.
Yeah,
we're
that's a
the
good point,
only.
yeah.
We're the only family, or one of the very few, that are actually flying there. A lot of my friends are like carpooling,
Yeah, because
taking that
that's
5-hour
way to
drive.
save money.
Well, see, I don't make the decisions. Mom
Yeah.
does. I don't
All right.
argue with it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't protest.
Got a little lawyer.
All right. So
Where are you staying, Sonny? Do you know?
no. I know we're staying at the same place as last year, but I can't remember the name of it.
I imagine it's on the strip.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I remember it's like
Is there a lion or the
I
pirates?
think the Mandalay Bay.
That's
Yeah.
a nice
It's a
place.
nice. It's a
That's a
nicer
good pool.
hotel. Yeah.
It's a
Great
nice
pool.
place.
yeah, sure it's free.
Enjoy.
All right, Brada. Have fun out there bouncing your ball endlessly.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Bye, son.
can we have your drop? Your
That's just a waste of my time.
Well, hold on. I stepped on it. Here we go.
gotta get clean.
Now you were
Clean.
telling me last night you wanted to do voiceover work, right?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Like
so
I kinda- yeah.
I'm going to be like a Dawson. You be the producer.
Dude.
You tell Sonny we need 3 clear but different flavor on each one takes on that's just a waste of my time. All right. So, Sonny,
All right.
pretend we're in a studio. Oh, wait a minute. Pretend Dawson's an audio. Oh, we got that part too. All right. Dawson is your engineer, and you're dropping lines for your call.
Here's a reading.
All right,
It's just
Sonny.
a waste of my time.
That's what you're going off of.
I'm just
You're
going to
gonna
let the
get
tape
a couple
roll.
different ones.
We're going to roll that tape.
I'm just going to let the tape roll. You just take it. These are wild lines. Just a waste of my time. It's just a waste of my time. 3 different ways. Go for it.
That's just a waste of my time. Shoot. That's just a waste of my time.
That's good.
I don't know. It's.
One more.
One
Give me
more?
one more.
That's just a waste of my time.
All right, now
Let's
Sonny,
go.
let's
Let's
do
sing
one.
song.
Let's do
That's
one
good.
with a smile.
That's just a waste of my time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good.
We got it.
That's good.
The kid's got it.
All right. Sonny, now one more super aggravated and angry.
All right. That's just a waste of my time.
All right, but don't laugh right after it.
Okay, one more for safety.
One more for safety.
Wait, like the same one or just?
Yeah, same one.
Have fun with it.
That's just a waste of my time. I can't think of anything.
Start off quiet and then loud. You know what I
Build.
mean? Yeah, like mutter it, then explode.
That's just a waste of my time.
It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
We're getting
Now
there.
you keep going up on time. I want you to finalize this. Put a period at the end of that sentence. It's just a waste of my time.
That's just a waste of my time.
Yeah, well, do it. Come on.
That's just a waste of my time.
Still going up on
A
that
little
time.
more period. End. Definitive.
That's just a waste of my time.
Like farther away. We're getting
Put yourself
colder.
in this situation. Imagine Natalia wants to take you to cotillion or something like that.
Oh no.
See, now you're in that space.
Exclamation point at the end.
So I just have to be like, okay.
Angry.
That's just a waste of my time.
It's not bad.
I bought it. I bought it. It was
I
honest.
don't know. I don't feel like Simpsons or Family Guy. I mean, maybe a little more Bob's Burgers
A little more
material.
Cleveland, a little Brickleberry.
A little more Cleveland. Yeah. One more big one. Big.
Explode.
That's just a waste of my time.
Okay. Thank you. Have
I'll
fun
have
with
to
your
do it.
ball.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
We have your information.
So should I just?
Yeah.
Scoot,
All
scoot.
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
Nice job.
Oh, thanks.
Good job.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
All
Good
right.
job, buddy.
Have fun.
All right.
All right. All right. So he hates school.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a waste of his time.
And it's just a waste of his time. All right, let's see. Max Zapata was reminding me of something, which is there's this great story up in the Bay Area. They want to take George Washington High School and they want to paint over some mural that's 83 years old. And I keep hearing $600,000 to paint over murals. Now, I paint over stuff all the time. And I looked at the mural. It's about 10 gallons of Sears Easy Living primer and some foam rollers and some dudes at my shop. We can do the whole thing for under $500, but either way, it's a mural. Now, I have a few thoughts on it, and then Chris also reminded me of something that I did 8 years ago that was directly related to George Washington High School. But in general, destroying art we're getting into this slippery slope book burning kind of a realm now. We're kind of getting into this realm where like Amazon's going, we're banning these books, and you guys are going, we're going to primer over this artwork, and it's like, why are we banning these books and primering over this artwork? Because we disagree with what these books say and what this artwork depicts, and it's like, okay, but do understand we're at the very beginning.
Right.
Of the slide down the backside of the hill
Yeah,
when you
it's
start
Orwellian.
doing this. And again, it's a progressive movement, so we shall not stop. We will keep looking for other murals and other books to ban. I don't know why this animates some people. It feels very, getting a cat out of a tree feels good for an old lady, or helping somebody out with a meal on a wheel or something like that feels good. Just sort of blocking out things so that people you don't know won't be offended.
Redacting history.
Yeah, also, some of this stuff does fall under the heading of, well, it did happen. So we have to decide whether we want to put this man's name on other things or not, but we certainly can't literally whitewash history with whitewash.
Right.
So they want to take this high school with this 83-year-old mural, and I guess it depicts Washington and troops and Indians and slaves and surveying, and seems to do, there was a whole, as a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting, Max Zapata, but back in the day, the L.A. River that ran in front of Valley College, Valley Junior, not community, junior college in Grant High School, there was this long basin, and they put a mural up on the long cement wall. And it was like that timeline mural. It's like
Throughout history or throughout
the
whatever.
Indians were here, and then the settlers got here, and then They opened a Starbucks, like at the end, like whatever it was. I just remember as a kid, like kind of like riding my bike past it, going, there's where we were in 1642, and then in 1800 they settled the West, and
That's the most history you've ever learned.
That was
and
it.
retained.
That's right. He once shot a man just for snoring.
Thanks for that mural. That's on there.
That mural's this thing goes prehistoric.
Wow.
It
20,000 BC.
It just travels along the wall until you get to actually a picture of you standing there.
A mirror.
Everyone
A
freaks
mirror.
out. That guy's got the same Huffy I have. So it's this long timeline wall. Now we're just looking at a little bit and piece of it, but I don't know, Max Bat. I think it keeps going, and you might look. Inevitably, you're going to find a square that you disagree with now. So what shall we do? You know what I mean?
Mammoths.
Well, I mean, at a
Mastodons.
certain point, we'll probably be okay with the woolly mammoths.
Right.
But at a certain point, we will get to the cowboys doing some settling.
There were some
or
trading posts that probably weren't super fair.
there'll be some
measles blankets.
Yeah.
there'll be
pox
that,
blankets.
or we can just get to the missions with the crosses on the
Yeah,
thing, and
that's
we
right.
could take some
Sure.
objection to the cross being depicted in the missions that from the West in the 1800s. So you can find things you object to if you're looking
Right.
for them, and now everyone's like a linebacker, head on a swivel, dropping back into a hook zone for things that offend them. Anyway, Max, I'll give you some time to find the rest of that mural if
we
you
have it
can.
here.
But they want to paint over George Washington, and I guess it's George Washington High School. And I think most of the stuff falls under the heading of, well, how could it hurt? If a few people are upset by it, then isn't it worth it? And so on and so forth. It can't hurt. It can't help. It's also, there's an artist who spent many months on this piece of art who's dead, and you're painting over that person's work.
Right.
It's sort of cosmically weird.
Right.
Somebody, obviously a person that was skilled, spent a lot of time creating this. So that's number one. And now 80 years after they died, you've decided you didn't like it anymore. Now we're going to paint over it, number one. Number two, there are people who enjoy or find some value in these things, whether they agree with them or not. We have discussed, we're talking about Roots yesterday with Lou Gossett Jr. I watched the miniseries Roots when I was a kid. I didn't agree with Roots. I just watched it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. That's where, and I learned. I was like, and also.
You celebrated the slavery. You
Yes.
celebrated the historical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Significance. I got what you're
Listen.
putting down, buddy.
Your name is not Kunta Kinte. It's Gerard. No, God, what they wanted him to call him?
Toby.
Toby, sorry. So I watched it with my lily white mom, and then she looked at me and went, "Oh, you see what we do? No more, never again." And it's like, okay, I got a little message out of it, like, oh, that was bad, and now this is now. So this notion of oh, it's so upsetting. Well, maybe it should be. Maybe you should go, okay, this is bad, and let's not relive this.
You're 100% right. I was thinking of a more extreme example. You thought of Roots. I thought of Mein Kampf. The book, it exists. It's out there. It was a book that was hugely influential and turned the course of history in a way, and it still exists today. You can read it and get an insight.
Brian can't stop reading it.
Cover to cover. You can have my copy if you want to see.
Thank you.
But it's an insight into a twisted mind that changed the course of history. It's not that we shouldn't. We
Right.
shouldn't ban it. We should probably explain that this book had terrible implications.
There's Helter Skelter. There's all these
Yeah.
historical pieces. It's not that we're celebrating them by any means.
Yeah. My thing that was bumped, I don't read, but I got the audiobook, and Jackie Mason narrating, it bumped me.
For the first chapter and a half, you can barely
You're so
focus
sensitive.
on the message.
I just feel like anybody but Jackie Mason. Now, I'm
God.
sure the price was right, and he's good. He's a wordsmith, but
He's a legend.
does it feel like a weird mixture?
I could get past
pairing?
it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad.
But
Who
don't you
screens these calls?
think more of an Alec Baldwin type
Yeah.
or somebody with the
Some
little
maybe.
gravitas? I just felt like Jackie
less
Mason was a
Jewish.
weird call
I mean, it made-
for the audio version of Mein Kampf.
It made sense at the time. He's a legend. He's recognizable. Sold some units.
Definitely moved some product. I just feel like it bumped this. It
Okay.
maybe that's
For
me.
you. Yeah,
Maybe that's
for you.
me.
You're very
Hindsight,
sensitive.
Yeah, 2020.
If he was still alive, I wonder if we should. That'd be a good crank anchor's call. Let's
that'd be
get
great.
Jackie Mason. We got a job. Okay. The
Holy
mural.
shit, that's a long mural.
That's
We're looking at
everybody.
the mural. The mural's like Cesar Chavez in a grape boycott, and like Martin Luther King, and some guy who looks like Nixon and Einstein. And look, you could walk. Oh, it's just sort of sitting in the back of the bus, kind of Rosa Parksy kind of. You could look at this mural and find something to object to at some point.
Sure, there's a lot of controversial stuff up there.
If you would like, the one that runs along the sewer in North Hollywood, Van Nuys adjacent. Anyway,
But isn't that the point? Like you said, isn't that the point? There are things there that are obviously disagreeable, and isn't that the point?
that is that, and all the people that are always talking about having an honest dialogue who
Right.
never want to have an honest dialogue, these kinds of things do spark a dialogue.
Absolutely.
Auschwitz is around. They have tours of Auschwitz. They bring people there and go, see, let's not ever have this happen again.
And Frank's
Right.
upstairs.
attic.
Yep.
So it's all there. I don't. But here's my bigger problem. There's two things. I feel like there are problems. There are problems that need to be addressed. Painting over a mural, or firing a mascot from a sports franchise are completely neither here nor there when it comes to whatever problems you're trying to fix for this community. And it satiates a little. Like there's a little sense of,
Well, that's done.
okay,
Yeah.
well, our work is done. We can rest a little bit here. No, the shootings in the inner city are exactly the same with the mural or without the mural. And many cultures have a version of this, and getting rid of the symbols of that never move the needle at all. So you go, what's the harm in doing this? Well, the harm is you could kind of feel good about
Yeah, you
yourself
think your
and
work's done.
move on to your next project.
Yeah.
The mural was painted in the 30s as part of FDR's New Deal to help lift America out of the Great Depression. And anyway, the guy was Russian and he's dead. But the thing that's funny, I was pitching an animated show to Fox about, 7, 8 years ago, maybe more. Mr. Burcham, shop teacher, and he taught at George Washington Junior High, and the opening scene of that 9-minute animatic, which you can see up on YouTube, is George Washington Junior High. George is being altered.
Well, did they tack on Carver?
This is
that's clever.
This is
Oh,
the
that's right. That was good.
they took George Washington. They tacked. I tacked. This is my goddamn joke. Tacked a Carver on there, and then home of the Braves, and we put Vikings in front of it, and just put a Viking helmet on the Braves.
Wow.
And I wrote this. I wrote these jokes almost 10 years ago. Like I was feeling it's sort of in 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks. Like I was sort of feeling this. I wasn't doing this stuff 20 years ago,
Right.
but I was feeling it 8 or 9 or 10 years ago. Like, where are we going? What's going on? It's funny that George Washington Junior High was literally the same mural, same name of the. And as a kid, I mean, could you imagine, like, George Washington? Oh, we got a problem with that. Like, you would be vexed. Like, you'd be like,
The greatest
what?
American hero.
What are we talking about?
The best part of this joke is how cynically crude the replacement is. Like, let's just satiate the people who want it, who want it changed, and we'll move on.
Right. I remember working with the illustrators on this for so long about like how the helmet had to just look like it was set on there,
slapped
and
on there.
Carver needs to just be kind of generic and just tacked on. And they kept giving me like stylized or like nice versions of it, because what I've realized is no one ever gets your joke. Like, I was like, no, there was a sign. The sign's been there for 50 years, and then somebody over the one weekend had to fix it.
They're hammers, and you asked them for a nail. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're a graphic designer. It's like, all right, well, let's make a beautiful sign.
Right.
No, the point is it's not supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be tacked on and rudimentary.
Right. I just remember
Crude.
going over that And for me, you get two birds with one stone because you get the Indian thing and you get to bring down George Washington at the same time. At a certain point, my character's pissed off that Carver didn't invent peanut butter, which he didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. He had every use for the peanut butter.
He
The one
mashed
that
peanuts
endured.
all day long in a lab, and he never spread it on a piece of toast. Crazy.
He had every use for a peanut except the one that endured.
Like his wife would come down and go, George, getting time for lunch. What would you like? Egg salad. Now leave me alone. I need this mortar and pestle and the peanuts.
I'm surrounded by peanuts. Water everywhere. Not a drop to drink.
And go to the part, Max Batter, we can play where my guy figures out, God, he's with Straub. It was a German guy who invented peanut butter. Andrew Straub or something like that. I remember us looking it up. But anyway, there it is. George Washington,
Well done.
Carver High, junior high, home of the what was Braves, was now Vikings.
And this wasn't timely enough. It was ahead of its time. It wasn't in the air. Only you felt it.
Here's the goddamn problem with being me. I have these ideas, but because I'm a goddamn genius, I have them before other people have
Sit on
them. And then when I pitch them to the fucking idiots, they go, huh? We're going to do Bob's Burgers because we don't want any of this. Obviously, it was before its time. Now it'd be perfect. Bertram would be perfect. This is exactly the time, the
hero.
temperature. This is exactly the political environment. This is pre-Trump and all this.
Yep.
This is me pitching this shit to goddamn Fox 8 years ago and them going, no, we want the hipster shit. God damn it. Sucks being a genius. Go find Sonny. Tell him he's lucky he's average. He can enjoy himself.
You're like Homer Simpson. You need the crayon back in your nose.
That's
you
right.
You can't get around in this world.
That's right. All right. Let's see. I'll let you find me pitching Peanut George Washington and his peanuts and Andrew Straub. I think the guy's name was. At the time we wrote, I don't know. It's 2 minutes into the thing or something. Geico. Everyone's got the to-do list. How about you save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance? That sounds good. You don't have to go anywhere. Just slide on over to your computer and go to geico.com. 15 minutes. You could be saving 15% or more on your auto insurance. Take that extra money, put it in your pocket, be the most rewarding thing you do all day. That is Geico. Geico.com. Doing a benefit tonight in Irvine.
Oh, close.
75-minute drive to be there by 8.
It's very benevolent of you.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Who's it benefiting?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know who benefits?
Troops, somebody with troops.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Go
Who's
for
it
it.
benefit?
Troop Beverly Hills.
How do we benefit?
F troop.
Yeah.
Stormtroopers.
Cowie.
Fold of honor.
Fold of honor. What are they?
Good name for GSB.
Yeah, so it benefits them.
Yeah, supports our military families.
Supports military families.
You got to go down
There you
there.
go.
That's right. All right, we'll see if you can find that part. I don't know. I'm in the classroom, Max Zapata. It's got to be about 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the thing. Guys get busted for bringing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich into the classroom.
Which also made no sense 8 years ago.
Yeah. Ooh, somebody went falconing last year and wants to discuss. All right, we need a minute, Max Pata.
Yes.
Why can we not?
We're juggling the phone calls and all this stuff.
okay.
We got a lot going on back here.
All
I have
right,
to watch it in real time.
John, 44, Cleveland.
Hey, Adam. Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. You went falconing?
I did. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good things only white people talk about in addition to falconing. But we went to Ireland, and we
So
met
far,
a
so
dude
good.
out on a country road. He was right out of Central Casting. He had the little Sprinter van, with the screen print logo all over the side of it. And he got out. He had the khaki pants, the khaki windbreaker, even had the floppy khaki hat on. And it was exactly what you'd think. Interestingly, they are not falcons. They haven't used falcons for over 100 years. They're all hawks.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
really?
Sure. That makes
yeah.
sense.
He gets out the hawks and he starts telling us there's two types. one type is just for show, and they compete with them, and the other type is for hunting. And the hunting story is pretty crazy, Adam, because it goes right to your crow theories. He said he will get four hawks, together that have never met before. He takes them out for about 2 hours, and they fly around. He takes them back the next day, and they already have a coordinated hunting team with roles all worked out.
Wow.
One hawk becomes like the finder of the prey. The other three, they sit in trees nearby and form a triangle and actually send signals to the one that's finding the mice or squirrels or whatever they're looking for. It's pretty crazy.
It's like Predator.
And then he makes a ton of money. Yeah, exactly.
Stay in the trees and the triangulate, and then boom.
Well, back to my crow theory, but I'll just make it a hawk theory. I see a lot of hawks out here, like soaring around. They don't seem to be.
Thermal
Yeah, they don't. They seem to be fairly abundant and very trainable. And like somebody will send me a tweet, and it'll be a picture of some crazy guy on the street with a knife, and the cops are like yelling, "Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop that!" And the guy starts charging at him, and then they shoot at him, and then he gets up again. It's like, why are we doing that? Like, why not send in the Falcons to that guy's head?
The school shooter situation is that should happen, because you can have the birds there, you can feed them, you can keep them, and then if they detect a kid with a gun or whatever, they see a gun,
Dive bomb.
what are you gonna do? Shoot at the birds? Or you're flailing at that point. 8 birds attack you.
Yeah, or the guy's just out in the middle of the intersection, and he's the junkie with the knife, and the cops are all around him.
What are you gonna do? Just flail with the knife?
The best day of that guy's life is if these birds attack his head and the cops don't fill him full of lead. I didn't know it was going to rhyme, but there you go.
Happy accident.
I don't go. We've figured out that okay, we may use birds to police other birds at the airport or the seafood restaurant or the venue or the whatever it is. Like, okay, we can use birds and they can do our bidding for things that we would like that involve at the airport safety. Okay, because the geese get sucked in, the birds strike, and the engines blow up and all that. Okay, good. We've crossed that bridge. We're there now. And then we have guys that are experts, and those guys know. And then when it comes to the military or the police, we have canine units. Like, these dogs can serve us. They can attack that guy. They can sniff out the bomb, or they can do whatever. Good. Let's just take it with the Falcon. I mean, first off, how pumped would you be? Like, when your city does something, like I was watching my city hose down hobo shit yesterday, and I was like, ugh.
Glorious.
But if I passed a van that had a big Falcon on it, it was the LAPD Falcon team, and it's like, and I knew they could go out and get these guys who were who caused a threat to themselves or the officers or whatever. Like, I'd go, good. Somebody's thinking, smart, love it,
outside the box,
work it. Yes.
Yeah, and we have all the evidence in the world that it works.
What?
So what's a holdup?
John, what could you do if I was standing in the middle of an intersection with a machete and 3 of these things came at my head? How could I possibly fend myself off?
He showed us some of the techniques they use. The beak is as hard as pliers coming down on your nose, your eye, and like I said, one day of training, not even training, they figure it out themselves in 2 hours. 4 birds that have never met figure out how to form an attack team.
Right.
To your example with the crazy guy with the machete, he's as likely to cut himself as he is to actually get contact with a bird.
Right. Also, you get to all the whatever racial components of everything all the time. Now, eventually Jesse Jackson would call the Falcons racist, but most right-thinking people would just go, look, the birds attack the guy. They don't care what color he is.
They're trained to look for swords.
Yeah,
Who's
what's
got
his
the
hand?
gun?
You're right.
Who's got the whatever? But
I think they could.
Yes.
I think they could use a team of them at Disneyland.
could you
Recently,
imagine? Could you imagine a school shooting scenario with this thing flying at the school shooter? Like there's no other choice other than to run or to flail or to whatever. It's the most,
maybe shoot wildly at the birds, but that's not going to last very long. They're going to
it's
attack
the most
you.
disruptive thing that could happen to your head. Look, we had a 4-ounce mockingbird.
Finch.
We had a bird that was the size of something like if an auto manufacturer, if there was a auto manufacturer that had a bird as its crest, as its sort of, mascot, and they put it on the hood of their car, that is the
That was the
actual
size.
size of this bird. It fucked all our shit up.
Became a recurring bit.
I had to put a helmet on and run to the next studio.
That is true.
Now, if those were hawks, we'd be
you'd be-
dead.
you'd be
Max
dead.
Spada,
We'd still be
they'd
living
pick
in
you
this
up
room.
and drop your ass into a volcano,
Yeah.
and nobody would care.
It'd be a bird box scenario. We'd be living in this room.
Right. That's right. That's right. I would care.
Thanks.
Nobody else would care. But
Feel better.
that's what I'm saying. Why not? Why not have one? Wouldn't you like one at every school just perched up there
Yeah, I'd
watching
like
the
several.
kids like walking in?
Like a handful, a murder, as it were.
So, John?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Adam. We have bald eagles in Northeast Ohio, and they are a-holes. I actually saw a hawk take out a bald eagle midair about a year ago. It
It's a federal
had
crime.
that bald
It's a
eagle
federal
in the
crime.
How can you
air
do that?
until it was gone. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if there was. I would train these things. Thanks, John. I would train these things that if there was a schoolyard fight, the hawk just flew down in it because it immediately breaks.
Break it up.
You have to cease everything
Right.
when a hawk lands on your head.
Well
You
said.
just have to. All right. So you go.
I hope they're
some
equipped
of
to
the-
do more than just rip eyes out, though.
Some folks are like, give the teachers guns. Everyone's like, no. And then some politician like 2 years ago was like, give the teachers a bucket of rocks.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Or-
Not sure how that's going to work. But the hawk,
Yep.
I could get behind. Plus, if the schools was named the Hawks,
Oh.
like the Atlanta Hawks
Yep,
or something,
yep.
it's going to be less than 10% of the schools. But if the ones called the Hawks, or after we change George Washington's name to the Hawks,
Yep.
that'll be great to have an
Yep.
actual Hawk. Bring it
It's
out
right
for the
there.
football
Absolutely.
game.
The George Washington Carver Hawks.
That's right. Oh, I wonder if we'll dig up some dirt on Carver.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming.
Everyone's getting their turn.
So why don't we just tack Carver onto George Washington, and then we'll be good. All right, you have the spot, by the way, the clip with Allison Janney, Best Supporting Actress 2018.
Peanut butter, Mr. Bertram.
These are peanut butter sniffing dogs?
We had to retrain them, but yes. Now, Mr. Bertram, I know you know Carver is a nut-free zone.
Am I the only one who sees the irony in banning peanut butter at a school named after the guy who invented peanut butter?
Actually, he didn't invent peanut butter.
I'm pretty sure the guy who dedicated his entire life to mashing peanuts invented peanut butter, okay?
Ambrose Straub invented peanut butter.
Jesus Christ. You're telling me George Washington Carver made axle grease and lantern oil out of peanuts but missed peanut butter altogether? Then why'd we bother changing the name of the school?
Miss-
Mr. Bertram. Yeah, I was thinking about this stuff. Smelling which way the wind was blowing. All right, Max Pata, take care. Let's see. What do we got? What's our breakdown here? Is Ian here yet?
He just walked in.
Oh, Ian just walked in. All right, we're going to take a break and bring in Ian Edwards. I was just watching a stand-up special last night. Funny and innovative. Did it like a TED Talk.
His not a TED Talk.
Yeah, it was really kind of crazy. And I have many questions because I did a stand-up special that had photographs in it as well, and I found it interesting. And I think he had like a clicker in his hand, and he was doing like the TED Talk clicker. And was that on the TED Talk stage? Or do they
it
have
certainly made
a?
it look like one? Yeah.
Do they have a TED Talk stage?
There are several.
Yeah, there's
There must be
Pasadena,
several
there's
now.
Orange County. Yeah.
Do they start in the Bay Area with like a
great
TED
question.
Talk stage? They'd bring people in. They must have done that
There must have been,
initially,
and then expanded.
and then they franchised it. But it was probably some Bay Area or Austin, Texas, or something like that. TED Talk, bring it in. I could do one on birds. I'll just be there. They'll fuck your shit up, dude.
I seen it.
All right. Anyway, Ian Edwards is going to be in, and we'll talk all about stand-up. And also, Ian's worked on Crashing and the Carmichael Show and lots of good Black Dynamite, the movie. We'll talk to him right after this.
White women, Lena Dunham is your leader because she's fat. It's not an insult. It's not an insult. You know, she's body positive. You know, so she's like outspoken, and everybody feels like, oh, what a brave woman. But you know how many fat black women don't give a fuck that they're fat? Like, they walk around proudly every day, thinking that, you know, they believe they're 10s in their head. You know? Like, Lena Dunham is just the first white, fat black woman.
Ian Edwards on The Adam Carolla Show.
Very funny stand-up special, Ian Talk, Ideas Not Worth Spreading, this Friday at midnight on Comedy Central, although I got to see it already. And
we get it. You're in the industry.
Yeah. Funny, insightful, innovative. Bill Burr brings you out. You go out there. Was that at a TED Talk facility?
Nah, we did it at a place that's had TED Talks before. It's a theater in Long Beach. You know, they do plays there. You could do anything, music things there. But we wanted to make it look as much like a TED Talk as possible. So we went to a bunch of places, and they've actually had TED Talks there. And then we found a TED Talk set online. We looked at a bunch of them, and we want it to look like this one or a combination of a bunch of them.
Well, it was a really funny stand-up special. I found it to be, well, there's some guys have like a funny cadence and some guys have a funny sort of turn of phrase, but some point there needs to be ideas. Like those ideas are the ones that's kind of what sticks. The jokes are kind of empty calories sometimes with some guys, which is still fine. Like there's room in your life for cotton candy, but the stuff you walk away thinking about, or you're going, oh, I see what he did there, are great. And then if you can take that and mix it with the punchline, then you have a great stand-up special. Some guys go all ideas, and then that's good, but that's all just protein. You know, you want a little cotton candy in there, right? So I don't know how you approach it when you're constructing it.
I like everything in there. You know, like a full meal. Like the best comics I've looked up to, like Pryor and Carlin and Cosby before his situation. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Cosby from prison you're talking about? Look up to?
Pre-prison.
Oh, like when he was in a holding facility, ready to be transferred?
More pre than that.
Oh, like the bus to the holding facility?
Like, no, pre.
Like mugshot?
No, pre that.
Oh, just during the trial.
No, pre that.
Leave it at that. That's fine. We get it. You look up to the man.
Trial Cosby was funny. He was hilarious if you watched the trial.
So, yeah, those guys you were going to say.
Yeah, they just like build something and they make a point, you know, Hicks and Stanhope, they make a point and they have something funny about it. Just as funny if it was like a just straight up cotton candy. And there's something goofy about it and there's something poignant about it. Just some of everything, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I guess I aspire to that.
The format also, as a comedian, I just look at everything and it was 45 minutes long. So I'm like, oh, is that okay?
That's
Are we
allowed?
allowed to do that? Because like, there's a 30-minute version of a stand-up special, and there's an hour version of a stand-up special, but this is in the middle. And then I'm kind of realizing I don't think there are any more rules.
Right.
I just think there's what you're doing.
Comedy Central, I don't know what version they gave you, but they had to fit in like 6 to 9 commercial breaks. So that's probably why. Because we had more, we cut some out.
Do they run it unedited on Comedy Central?
Online
or on the network?
I don't even think online. I think they'll put some commercials in online.
But will they edit your verbiage?
Well, there's an uncensored version and then there's a censored version. So I think that when they air it at midnight, it's going to be uncensored. And then if they air it other times, you're going to get the censored version.
Such a weird, again, that we're still living in this world.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was really funny, and
Thank you, man.
It's really interesting, and the format is cool, and the visuals are cool, and I guess you were just working a clicker for the photographs.
Yeah.
What did Bill Burr? How does Bill Burr factor into this?
Well, first, I was like, I got to shoot a special at the end of last year. Like, regardless, like this material is gonna get stale. I'm gonna get tired of saying it, and then I'm gonna move on from it. And then when it's time to do a special with it, I have to relearn this thing that I'm tired of all over again. So Aristotle, who she knows, he's a comic and a director. We were looking for venues, and we were gonna shoot this thing. I was gonna spend my own money and shoot this thing. Then Bill got the deal with All Things Comedy, with Comedy Central, to shoot 3 specials. And then he hit me up and he's like, hey, I want you to be one of the specials. So now I got to keep my money in the bank and take some of their money and shoot the special, and also have a place where it's going to air. So that's how he came in. Yeah, and then he liked the concept. He got it right away. Him and Al Magical, like, they're comics. You don't have to fight with them. They get funny. So it's just perfect.
I did have one of my thoughts was the TED logo was like the TED logo at the beginning, and I thought, I don't know, are they litigious? Did you have to clear it with them? Like,
so far, I think there's a parody law.
Oh,
there is.
So I don't know. So Just don't bring it up.
Stop talking about it.
Adam. Yeah.
No, it's funny.
I'm still worried about it.
You ever talk to anybody about the law? They give you two stories. They go, hey, it's parody. You can do whatever you want as long as it's parody. Mm-hmm. And then you go, oh, good. And then they pause and they go, but anyone can sue anyone for any reason. I'm like, okay,
which is it?
Which is it?
Yeah,
you just covered your own point with you tell me I could sue my cat or my cat could sue me anytime, anywhere.
For any reason.
Thank you. Thank you, Nostradamus. You've explained anyone could sue anyone at any time.
Yeah, there's some cats I want to sue, so I'm glad you can sue cats. For real.
So anyway, it's a really funny special. And I was looking at your writing credits. I just saw Pete Holmes a couple days ago at the Comedy Store and Crashing. Probably my favorite program. Sad that it's canceled, but I loved Crashing. I felt it to be insanely realistic. It seemed like such a great glimpse into all stages, pardon the puns, of stand-up, like the beginning, the open micers, the trying to get mic time, the middles, the headliners, the guys going on the road, all the trials and the tribulations. I mean, obviously, it just was written by comedians.
Yeah. There's a bunch of comics in the writer's room, like Mike Lawrence, Greg Fitzsimmons, a bunch of them. Pete was in there, Judd's done comedy. He was in there. And there's other comics. I'm blanking on them right now. But I don't even remember. There was just one writer that wasn't a comic.
Right.
That had written with Judd for a long time.
It's good. Like it's fine if you have someone who's really good with shaping stories. They don't need to tell jokes, but
they had that one guy.
The jokes, get the one guy who's good at shaping, and then let him sort of navigate and let the comics be the wheelmen.
Right.
All right, it's a very funny stand-up special, and it's innovative. I would say. I would have to say innovative. So you've done yourself proud. Yeah.
Would you like to know where the first TED Talk was? Or where it originated?
I would just assume the Bay Area, but that sounds too easy.
I'm going to guess Seattle.
Any guesses, Ian?
Seattle sounds good.
Now, as far as I can tell, the first one was in 1984. It was a one-off. It was a big financial failure. It didn't do well. It was in, almost positive it was in Monterey, California, which is not quite the Bay Area, but more or less, to the rest of the world, it's the Bay Area. In 1990,
I wonder what venue in Monterey.
So they re-upped it in 1990. That's when it became an annual thing, and that's when it became successful. But the first one was in '84. It was a flop. No one.
How was it a flop? Because no one showed
no one
up?
attended. They didn't make any money. It was a financial failure. They had, it says they had like demonstrations from Lucasfilm and the first. Oh, what was it? They had an e-reader for books and.
I get why that failed.
Yeah. Oh, and they had a compact disc demonstration because CDs were brand new technology at that point. And 1990 is when that was in Monterey for sure because I can see it on their site.
Well, I'm going to be at the Golden State Theater August 17th.
Celebrating the first TED Talk.
Whatever you say after this, I'm going to call this home of the TED Talk, so glad to be back. But, Monterey, because I go there every year for the car race, is a little town.
That's a strange place for us to start.
A lot of venues.
No,
so I've probably played one of those venues there.
The original TED Talker.
But now they've done thousands, and I think they made
all over the world.
Yeah.
And I just stole one. So
is TED? Is that an acronym or is that the name of a guy?
No, it's Technology, Entertainment, Design, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. We got the news. Adam Ray's going to come open for me at Monterey.
Your TED Talk?
For my TED Talk in Monterey.
Anyway, that's my time.
All right, let me hit Castrol. Oh, we have a Castrol Challenge. You can tweet us at Adam Carolla Show with hashtag Castrol Challenge with your question for Castrol Challenge, brought to you by Castrol Edge, formulated with fluid titanium technology, reduces friction, maximizes engine performance. Three times, fool! Stronger against viscosity breakdown than leading full synthetic oils. What's our question, Max Zapata?
At Hot Rods and Stuff on Instagram wants to know hashtag Castrol Challenge. What are your thoughts on drag racing? Have you tried it? Did you like it? What do you think?
Well, here's what I know. Some go, some blow. That's what I've learned. I've learned that they took place at OCIR, Orange County International Raceway, where the 210, the 10, and the 405
explode.
Oh, I thought they
I've
just
learned
met.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
They explode.
When the flag drops.
Oh, when the green flag
green flag,
drops, the bullshit stops.
Right.
I've learned that.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have a green flag. They have a Christmas tree.
Oh.
The lights
Oh, wow.
declining.
Magical.
They come down, 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 down. Boom.
Wow.
They go.
Glorious.
I have learned that Big Daddy Don Garlett's in town. He's going to be there with the Chi-Town Hustler.
Sure.
He's going to be there with the Hawaiian, Billy McEwen.
Does he have other plans?
Well, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney thinks that trophy's for her, but
Right.
Big Daddy's got other plans.
Right.
What language is this?
Papa
lost.
Do Run Run.
Playing the infield.
Yep.
English Leather Girls are going to be there. And Friday night is Fox night, where Foxes get in free.
I got to get up on this white slang.
Oh, yeah. This is as wide as it gets. It's a drag racing commercial from the 70s. It is super white talk. Mm-hmm. It's kind of it was a version of what, how, I'm trying to think of our white phrases now. We have, yeah, it is. That's like a white, white thing. We have right.
So good.
Right.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is that in the form of a drag racing commercial. No, I've never really done much drag racing, although it sounds cool, but it also feels like you're just going in a straight line. And for me, I like the road course where you're doing a lot more turning and having some elevation changes. But look, God bless you. If you're out there destroying the planet by burning vulcanized rubber and nitromethane, you're a hero.
You're all right in our book.
Yeah,
It's not easy to do these days.
That is the biggest drag racing. First off, before they do the drag race, they do the burnout. The burnout just leaves a huge pile of burnt rubber smoke that just goes into the atmosphere. It's weird. All the greenhouse gas folks and the AOCs and the Al Gores and stuff, they're all about talking about big oil and this company and that company and everything else. They leave drag racing off the list. If you saw a drag racing burnout, it's insane. It's literally, it's like if they came up with a sport to destroy the environment. That's all.
That's the race.
That's the real race. How fast can we all have to move to another planet or live underground? Because that's all drag racing is. It's just smoky burnout. Max Pata, find me a funny car burnout. Then they push them back. Then they go down. Then they blow up. Then they go rebuild the engine in between races. And then they go out and blow up everything again.
Is it like one set of tires per race?
Yeah.
Oh, no. They burn up tires and chuck them in a landfill.
Wow.
Yeah, they are single-handedly going to destroy this environment we're living in. Mm-hmm. When we have to move and populate Venus or Mars or the moon, it'll be because of Big Daddy Don Garlett, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney, and the Chi-Town Hustler.
Right. Mm-hmm. Public Enemy 1, 2, and 3.
That's right. What do we have? Oh, the human stick of dynamite. Yeah, all they do is destroy the environment. Find a good burnout. They got to burn them out. You can't.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Tires have to get sticky in order to get traction. And in order to get sticky, you got to put heat into them. So before the drag race, they light up the tires, they burn them out, they get them all sticky and gooey, and then they push them back to where they were, the starting line, and then they start the race immediately with their sticky, gooey tires.
Millennials do that as a challenge with their bodies on the internet.
Really?
Like light their bodies on fire.
Really?
Yeah, you never
to
seen
get traction?
that? I don't know for what, but not for such a worthy cause.
Yeah. They put it out by eating one of those Tide Pods.
Tide Pods. Oh, yeah, one of those.
We're the dumbest. We're so out of problems. All right, Max, what do you got? Burnout?
Yeah, we found one of Don Garlett's.
It could be any. It doesn't have to be Don. Just a burnout. It's fine. Just lighten up those
Put it up right
those tires. Oh, this is on a street. Do you have a drag racing burnout, Max Zapata? Like, isn't that just all over the internet? Like, every single drag race just does the... Yeah? Are you talking to Dylan? Dylan likes soccer.
just light it up, and then they stop, and then they push them back, and then they light them, and then they light up the tires. Yeah, but you'll find a better one.
There's
than
so
that.
much smoke, you cannot see the car anymore.
Oh, they'll hit you with a better angle than that, Max.
And you said they push it back means the car doesn't even go in reverse?
You know, I don't think those transmissions have a reverse in them. Well, because it's not like I'm going to get in my dragster and get some groceries. You guys want anything from the Whole Foods? Like
I like that it's even more of a waste.
Oh,
A
yeah.
car, let's build a car that can't go in
straight
reverse.
ahead.
It's straight, fast, rips up tires.
It can carry no luggage, no groceries. It only
passenger.
holds one racist. That's all.
One racist.
That's good. I mean, race. Like drag race. Drag race.
Yeah.
Right.
What'd you hear?
All right, Max, man, this is driving me insane because I feel like the internet is built for cars. This is not at a drag strip, but all right, you can fire it up. Here we go. Let's hear it. Oh, maybe it is at a drag strip. Oh, they hit the brakes. They hit the front brakes and just light it up. Here comes a funny car. Now they're going to light this. Now they're going to light it up. All right.
That'll get your asthma to kick up.
All right, Max Batter. Find me a big cloud. All right. Let's. That's drag racing, man. Some go, some blow. Hey, we got Big Daddy Don Gonzalez coming out there. Sure. Cha-Cha Downey. The Hawaiian Billy McEwen's coming in. TB Tommy Ivo. The Chi-Town Hustler. English Leather Girls are going to be there. Fox is free Friday night. Eliminations, 12 noon. Races under the light. Human Stick of Dynamite's going to take the infield. Look out, kids. This guy's been concussed. And the Wheeling School Bus. It's a stock school bus filled with special needs kids in the back. Front engine off the ground. And that baby lights it up. Is that, who is this?
Molly Crew.
Songs
Motley
about
Crue.
drag racing.
No.
It's about
there's
drugs.
been a lot of songs about drag racing. I don't think anyone's ever rapped about drag racing.
Maybe Lil Nas X will get on that next.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. We will take ourselves a quickie break. Ian Edwards is here. Funny stand-up special out. We'll take a break. We'll do the news right after this.
Trouble in the Middle East, celebrity drunk meltdowns. Eat news with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
This half of the show brought to you by LifeLock.com, promo code Adam. So Max Pata, NHRA, dragster, burnout. All right, go ahead.
Well, speaking of all those crazy Trump tweets, Fox News reports that a federal appeals court ruled that President Trump is not allowed to block people on Twitter over statements he does not like, affirming a lower court's decision that declared the president's account a public forum. So, yeah, according to court documents, Trump admitted that he blocked the plaintiffs, it was 7 people, in the case in 2017 when they posted tweets that criticized him or his policies. Once they were blocked, they were no longer able to view any of his tweets while logged in. And the First Amendment prohibits government discrimination against a person's free speech based on their viewpoint. Trump claimed that his Twitter account is private, so the First Amendment shouldn't apply. But since he puts out a lot of government information on the real Donald Trump or whatever, he can no longer block it.
Yeah, I agree. They can't have it both ways. You can't be using it as a platform to do like official business and then say it's not, then blocking people.
Right.
But also, I thought that was Trump's appeal. Like he didn't care.
Right.
Like, why would he block?
I'm surprised he only blocks people.
Has anyone ever blocked anybody?
I'm proud to say I've never blocked anyone.
Really?
Yeah. I mute the shit out of people.
I bet you get maybe half the rape fantasy threats that I do.
Yeah,
so
but
that
maybe
makes sense.
60%.
Yeah,
If he got those, he wouldn't block them.
That's right.
That's true.
That's true.
Favorite this shit.
He doesn't call him a threat.
Yeah, he DM
Compliment.
To me, muting someone is so much more satisfying because I just imagine them like, I only mute annoying people. People are relentless, and it's like, all right, you've had enough with you. I don't want to see your tweets anymore.
How do you mute people?
I guess there's just a drop-down little like option to mute.
What does muting get you?
They continue to tweet at you, and they think that
don't
you're
know.
seeing it, and I am blissfully unaware. I imagine them pissing into the wind and
So-
covering themselves in their own urine.
So the wind's not going.
No, they're
towards
pissing
the back.
into the wind.
Oh, into
Yeah,
the
not
wind.
with the
Oh,
wind.
not with the
No,
wind.
no.
Right.
The wind's
That's
at the
right.
front.
Right. So
It's a headwind.
Right. So when you mute somebody, it is like blocking them, but they don't know it.
Exactly.
They don't get the satisfaction I imagine a lot of people get out of like, yeah, I got under their skin. They blocked me.
Oh, if Trump, people have posted before. They've tweeted the screenshot of, oh my God, what an honor, Trump blocked me.
That's what I'm saying. I think that a lot of people get a sort of weird satisfaction of, yeah, I annoyed them so much they blocked me.
And he noticed you enough to block you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
Right.
Well, speaking of that, if you've ever posted something on Instagram and wished you could take it back, the company wants to help you now. The Facebook-owned social media platform is rolling out this new feature that'll analyze your comments. And if something appears to be a little confrontational, they'll ask you if you really want to post it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Instagram says,
What they're
quote,
really asking is, are you drunk?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Bear goggles.
Right?
How high
you
are you?
drunk?
From early tests of this feature, we found that it encourages some people to undo their comment and share something less hurtful once they had a chance to reflect. Another new feature will allow you to keep certain posters from appearing on your feed, like Brian's talking about, without them ever knowing that you filter them out. So that's like their mute button version.
So it's like you said, it's like a sobriety test for
Right.
Instagram. Before
Yeah.
you get in your car,
Breathalyzer.
Right.
Yeah.
there's
Exactly.
a breathalyzer. Yeah.
Breathe into your phone.
Breathe into your phone. Do you want to tweet that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we did the Man Show, that was always one of my pitches, like for a commercial, like a breathalyzer for your phone. But it was like drunk dialing,
Yeah.
Booty
X's,
call, yeah.
booty call, and all that kind of stuff. It's weird that we have to create a bunch of filters to protect ourselves from ideas, and thoughts about us that can travel across the universe and land on our phone. I don't see. Here's my thing. I think it's pretty endless and infinite. Like I think if your thing is, I can have my day ruined by that tweet or by that statue or by that George Washington depiction or somebody honking at me in the car. That's infinite. That's everywhere, and we can just keep applying it to everything
Sure.
all the time. So with that in mind, I think you're going to have to get your own head right and become the ultimate sort of filter for the entire universe, because running around trying to put out all the fires that are going on is an endless job.
Right.
And there's always a new fire, and it's always something else, and you've always figured out, and you can interpret anything as hurtful or dangerous or whatever. There was that story out of Arizona where I guess it was a woman. She was like at a Starbucks, and she was like, there's 6 cops that are standing out front of the Starbucks, and I feel unsafe. Ironically, she felt unsafe. But either way, you're then allowed to go announce that to anybody you want. Now,
You had to move it along.
if cops are going to... Look, so we're now at a point where no cops can make you feel unsafe, and too many cops can make you feel unsafe.
There's a sweet spot, but 1.5 cops.
There's got one fat cop.
Cop and a half.
You feel safe. Yeah, like
Burt Reynolds and the little midget.
Hervé Village?
yeah.
Might have been a kid.
No, I think it was a kid. Cop and a half movie.
Stupid, sorry.
Yeah. Either way, instead of everything triggering you, why don't you get your head right, and then nothing will trigger you.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's going to take some calories. Like that's going to take some meditation, some hikes, some taking a sauna,
Spending some time with
exercise,
yourself.
taking a little time with yourself without your phone.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah, I know. I hate hanging with me.
Birds. Hey, back to drunk tweeting for a second. Does anyone else do this? I'm curious if anyone does this, or sadly just me. On like after I've been like maybe out, drinking on a Friday or Saturday or whatever, the first thing I'll do when I wake up the next morning is sadly check like my own Twitter timeline, my own feed, my own tweets. Like, shit, did I reply to someone and like say something I shouldn't have?
No, I check Amazon. Always Amazon.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to clear the history on you porn. I get you.
Yeah. Ian, you?
Do I clear? No,
What's yours?
I leave. I save my history on you porn. I like to go back to those videos.
Oh, yeah. You worked hard to find
You
those.
live alone.
Right.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So, billionaire and one-time independent presidential candidate H. Ross Perot has died. He was 89. Perot, who built his fortune in the computer services industry, made the most successful independent run in the White House history in '92, although Bill Clinton beat him and Bob Dole out. Perot garnered 19% of the popular vote, which is not nothing when you're an independent.
Yeah.
He was diagnosed with leukemia 5 months ago, but
Wasn't
continued
Bob
to
Dole
work.
96?
Oh, was it? I have 92. We can look it up.
It was Bush.
Yeah,
I
Bush
think.
was not. He ran for re-election.
I think it was
maybe,
Bush.
yeah.
Either way.
I think
but
Ross
he
Perot
was-
ran twice. Anyway, sorry.
He's still dead.
Yeah.
He's still. Thank you.
he's dead.
He very charitable foundations donated hundreds of millions of dollars over the years, particularly to education. He's survived by his wife and 5 children.
So I'm going to draw a line between Tom Green and Ross Perot.
Here,
Wait.
here we go. This old bit.
When you lose an election, like, so when Bush lost the election, he's like, because too many people voted for this other guy and that skimmed votes away from me. I don't know. That just means you're bad at your job or you ran a bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like I opened a froyo place, but the problem is that they opened another one down the street and everyone went there. It's like, well, maybe you should do a little better with your froyo, and everyone wouldn't go over there.
Yeah.
So Tom Green. Tom Green wrote, directed, and starred in a movie called Freddie Got Fingered.
Oh, Jesus.
It was really bad, and nobody went. But and we had the same manager at the time, was Freddie Got Fingered was rated R. All the kids bought PG tickets to go to like the Neverending Story 2 and then went in and saw Freddie Got Fingered.
There you go.
And I was like, I would be down with that notion if I didn't see Freddie Got Fingered and realize it was the worst movie as an adult, I've ever seen.
I felt like you got fingered after you saw it.
And by the way,
And it wasn't a fun
dry, like dipped in hot sand and
sand.
then fingered. Not a nice water soluble lube.
Not Castrol.
No, not full
Far from
synthetic.
it.
No. Sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ross will be missed.
Yeah.
And if someone else is taking your votes away, then you should do a better job at
Keeping
getting
your
votes.
votes.
Getting people
That's
to vote
right.
for you. So, some breaking update news on Anderson Cooper and his fortune.
Shouldn't we be further along in the independent party?
Yes.
This is a full
Yes.
20 some odd
Yes.
years after this
would solve a
notion
lot
of an independent guy getting
Yes.
a large chunk of votes.
That would
Now
solve
it's
a lot of
20 years
problems.
later. Shouldn't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Can we
It's
have
a little
more of that?
archaic.
Especially with
Yeah.
the internet, and you can promote yourself more and do
Yes,
things. Yeah.
we should be further along in that. And then every time, it's always funny when that person, like Ralph Nader, goes, I'm going to run. And then they go, you're going to take Hillary Clinton votes, you asshole. Don't do it. And then that guy gets yelled at for
Yep.
taking other people's votes. I think the Starbucks, I don't know, Schultz.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Starbucks
yeah, the
CEO was like
yeah.
going to run, and then all the Democrats got pissed at
Yeah,
him
they
because
freaked
it's
out.
like you're going to funnel off
Yes.
votes that could go to beat Trump. And well, what about a robust
True
independent
third party or independent candidate.
Yeah, I think it's only Oprah, right? Oprah's got to do this.
No, I have another suggestion
Oh.
for you right here.
Who?
We'll hold on to Anderson for a second. So we lost, the Dems lost Eric Swalwell. We lost him.
Right.
And now we have a new one in town. Billionaire Tom Steyer. That's the
Oh.
new name in town that everybody's talking about.
But
he
to Adam's
just
point, I think needs
threw
to be
his hat in the ring.
needs to be someone of Oprah's like level that can literally transcend
Right,
political
but
party.
monetarily, this guy's got it all.
He can spend.
He made a name for himself with his efforts to get President Trump impeached. He had a whole campaign, a commercial campaign. Now he wants to focus on issues like climate change and campaign finance
Well,
reform.
he's got to end this drag racing. I mean, at least,
That's where he
at least
started.
limit the burnouts. Come on, show
It's
me a
ugly.
smoky burnout, Max Zapata.
Oh,
This is a smoky drag.
What is that? Oh,
that's a funny car.
It's a
Go ahead.
dragster.
you got sound.
Now, Tom Steyer would not enjoy watching this guy.
Not publicly.
Damn.
He's not even making a run. He's going to stop it, back it up for 1,000 feet. All right.
So
I
he
feel like there's better out there for us, Max Zapata.
and he's part of that giving pledge.
Oh,
You
the
know,
giving
that
pledge.
he's got-
Oh,
yeah,
right.
He's
I don't
going to
even
give
know
away
what
at
that
least
is.
half of his
Well,
1.6
if you got
billion dollar
herpes,
Uh-huh.
you have unprotected sex.
Yeah.
Right.
You give that you give half of your net worth
It
or
can
half
be.
of your.
It can be all. It can be half. He says he's going half of 1.6 billion.
Who
Who's he giving it to?
the world?
The people, the human fund.
Who's the engine behind that?
I think it's the Gates, right? It's Bill and Melinda. Because I know Warren Buffett, Bill and Melinda Gates are involved. I think Oprah's involved. I thought the Gates started it.
It's got to be weird, right? And so there's that big thing where they take billionaires and they all pledge to give a percentage, a large percentage of their worth to worthy causes. But
Did any of them do it yet?
oh yeah, they've signed the pledge, and I don't know if they've taken the money, but yeah, they're into it. But again,
They're still alive. Then.
Yeah.
you have $50 billion. You got to figure out a way to get by on $25 billion.
Right.
But
Poor thing.
what I'm saying is it's got to be weird for the billionaire, and he comes in the office and his secretary's like, Bill Gates called. He wants to have dinner. And you're like, don't you tell him I was here, did you? Well, he just said to call him back, but what kind of dinner?
Sniff it out.
Yeah, just ask him what he's thinking about. Is he thinking like a TGI Friday thing when I bring a few buds? Like we're going to watch some games, or like a quiet dinner where he has to discuss it?
Right. This is a private room.
Because he's going to put the hook on. He's going to put the clamps to you, right? And what are you going to say?
do?
What are you going to say? You have $100 billion.
It's a dinner. It's a free dinner that could cost you billions of dollars.
Right, right.
And you're like,
An expensive porterhouse.
Yeah.
Somebody must have those thoughts when Bill Gates online
Yes,
too, right?
yes.
Oh, you know who could have probably launched a successful, independent, totally bid for president? Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He was universally, admired for his business acumen and leadership and visionary.
Get up there in that black turtleneck while
Yeah.
everyone
That's right.
else is wearing the red, white, and blue
The lapel pin.
lapel pin, and he's just up there.
Yeah, that's right.
He's doing his unveiling.
That's good.
Rolling out products.
You know he'd have the best logo.
Of course.
The branding would be off the charts.
Right. Yeah, I think Oprah would be. Now, but Steyer's not going independent. Is that right? He's
That's right.
joining the Democratic
and the
group.
Democrats are pissed. I mean, there's
Why?
22 people in this pool right now. They are pissed. There's too many people, and I mean, remember the debates were over 2 nights, and that was 11 people each,
damn.
There are
Right.
too many
12 people each. Yeah. So somebody else is jumping in. We'll see if anybody else enters.
All right.
So we were talking about Anderson Cooper, and boy, oh boy, they are reporting something very different than we talked about the other day. When he said did not expect to inherit a fortune from his mother, apparently he was right, because we had reported, tons of outlets put out that Gloria Vanderbilt's estate was worth $200 million, and he would get it. But now, according to probate documents obtained by Page Six, it looks like he's going to get less than $1.5 million, which is apparently the total value of her estate at the time of her death. Now, remember, the brother that was on the outs, Leopold Stan Stokowski, he gets that co-op. That's valued at $1.2 million. That's basically her biggest asset. In 2014, we talked about how he said to Stern, "My mom's made it clear there's no trust fund, there's none of that." And they said despite being born into one of the wealthiest families in America, Gloria saw her bank account dwindle over the years. And she reported continued spending lavishly, all these other personal pursuits. And in the 90s, she was forced to sell off 2 of her homes. And Anderson already earns like $12 million a year.
I was going to say, can't take it
He
with
does.
you.
Yeah.
It's also a sad indictment where it's like he only gets $1.5 million. Ooh, that's got to sting.
That's
Yeah, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I remember.
Is he going to get by?
I remember when my Nana died and left me $7 million. I was pissed, but 1.5. This is brutal.
Poor thing.
It's a slap in the face.
Yeah, a real insult.
Like anyone you know has ever been left any fucking thing at any time.
Yeah.
I've been
No.
left debt. but
Yes.
not
inherited
cash.
debt.
Negative.
Yeah.
I had to pay for my father-in-law's funeral. Like there was nothing. It just
Your
cost me money.
father-in-law's funeral?
Yeah.
What about his daughter?
Oh, I'll pay for hers. What? You got an idea?
Yeah. We'll talk
Talk after the show.
What have you heard?
Yeah, I know. So like 1.5, like, ugh. Oh boy.
Tough break.
That's rough. Yeah.
Okay, got screwed.
Tough. Yeah.
So, People magazine reports that London's Metropolitan Police have questioned Kevin Spacey about 6 allegations of sexual assault. So that's the Scotland Yard detectives. They traveled here to grill him. He faces some, for this fall for allegedly groping that teen. He faces charges. While Spacey hasn't
Hold on
been
a
charged.
second.
Yeah.
They fly out, taxpayer expense, I guess, to sit down with Spacey in an office for a couple hours. Isn't this kind of what Skype is for?
Oh, yeah.
Like, do we
Yeah.
really need to
FaceTime.
smell the guy?
That's a good question.
Like, you know what I
Free
mean? Like,
Skype.
you're just going to sit a couple of folding chairs across the table from
Yeah.
one another. This is kind of what it...
That's
hilarious.
absolutely right.
It's perfect
Not
for
cost-effective
Skype,
to come
right?
here. You're
Yeah,
right.
they did a bad version of Beverly Hills Cop in it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
instead of coming from Detroit to Beverly
Right.
Hills to solve the crime, they fly over, but it's for a groping case.
It costs money. There's no way you can get through the fuselage of an airplane with that hat on they wear. Their officer helmet. That thing's like 9 inches tall.
Pipe
Going
cleaner.
to screw up the headliner.
One of many problems.
Whatever. Yeah.
Many issues to overcome.
Many issues. I'm just saying, like Skype. Just let's Skype it. I'll save the taxpayers.
You won't be
15
jet
grand.
lagged while
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
asking questions about did you touch this kid's dick?
Right.
You can ask it fresh.
Yeah.
Over a
Yeah, and it's not like you're looking at a computer screen asking whether he touched his kid's dick. It's not like it's going to muddy the waters. You can see whether he did it or didn't.
Yeah,
Right?
same thing.
Also, you can do things that you can't do in person. Like if you're in the room with Spacey, you can't lean over to your friends and do the blowjob move.
Off camera.
You can't hold your hand and go, oh, shit, this fucking guy.
Right.
Fucking actor. You know, you can't do any of that. You're right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, flying over takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Out of the interrogation.
You can't play douche cop, where you both are like, fuck this. You know, you're fucking guilty, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
you
did
save a
this wrong.
lot of money.
You're right. This was a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why they're even here is because the Old Vic, London's Old Vic Theatre, Spacey was the artistic director over there from 2004 to 2015.
Oh, shit.
So yeah,
I've
so
known
they
a
said-
lot of guys that have been involved with running theaters.
Me too.
There's a pussy version and a dick version of it, but there's never just I love theater version. There's like a lot of hot young trim coming in here with a lot of dreams.
Starry eyes.
a lot of
They're
dreams.
pretty pissed at their stepdad, and guess who's in charge of their world?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that version.
Yeah.
Then there's the gay version. But there just I'm a devoted family man who loves the arts.
Who loves music?
Someone
man.
had to take up the
And
mantle.
Kevin Spacey was not that guy.
I'm
apparently.
saying I
Maybe.
don't think there's
Unlikely.
I've known some dudes who are in the theater and they
Yeah.
like the ladies, and then
Yeah.
there's some other dudes who like the dudes, but
Well, Kevin might be the intersection.
they're kind
The
of just
cross-section.
there. Like if they're there, I mean, there's a little bit of this with the priesthood. Like you do, what'd you do? What'd you think was a good
Why'd
idea?
you volunteer for this?
You did this, huh? Celibacy. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just be worried about, like, if somebody said, this guy runs a theater,
Oh boy.
I wouldn't let him babysit. I'd rather him be a sheet metal worker.
Natalia can't audition to be in My Fair Lady at the community theater.
Okay, but we're going to do it on the roof. I don't want her going in that place.
So she can be the fiddler.
We go like the Beatles. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
My
That's right.
thing is construction workers get so much shit for harassing people, and theater workers might be the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Good point.
the construction guys do it from an I-beam like 40 feet away. They do the cat calls, but they
Right.
never seal the deal.
Right.
Like you have millions of cat calls, but they never generate any actual insertion. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you never turn the corner and like I saw a couple of construction workers banging the Jesus out of a secretary. Like they do the cat call.
Right. Now you hit the prop room.
Yes.
New story.
The cat call guys get all the ire we have, but
Right.
they really don't ever get the rubber to the road. You know what I
Correct.
mean? They don't put their
Yes.
hands on
They're like a
anybody.
sick
Accurate.
burnout.
Right, like a
Right.
cool burnout. But the theater guys get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're right on ground zero.
That's right.
Right there.
So, a 13-year-old boy who stabbed his older brother told police he would rather be in jail than spend 8 hours in a car with his brother. Yahoo News says the teenager complained that his 15-year-old brother had been teasing him before he slashed him 3 times with a pocket knife. The victim was found bleeding heavily in the driveway of a house in Florida. They're from Tennessee. While
Florida.
the sibling, sat in the front of the car and just kind of basked in the glory. The younger brother was arrested and charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. The teenager said he had had enough of his brother and he did not regret attacking him. According to an arrest, he said, "I'd rather be in jail than spend any time in the car with him." His sibling was taken to the hospital for treatment, but has since been discharged.
Kid knows what he doesn't like.
That's right.
Yeah. And he's a man of action.
Yes.
I'd like to hire this young spark plug.
Some startup.
Yeah, this kid's got it.
Yeah.
Also, everyone
To a
says,
TED Talk.
I'd rather spend my life in jail than live with this shrew in the same house. They don't really mean it.
Right.
I think once they get to jail for a couple of nights,
Yeah.
they wish they were back in the house with the shrew,
Yeah.
right?
This kid backed it up, though. He stabbed
All right.
him.
That's right.
Said, "Take me with you."
Yeah. I don't know. These guys, it's the impulse control guys who worry me the most in society. Like the guys who he's just hitting people in the head with a hammer on the subway.
Ooh.
Like, really? You can do that?
Yeah.
Although he had driven from Tennessee to Florida and not done it. He did once they got there. So maybe his impulse control is excellent.
Or
Great
back
defense
to my
attorney.
theory about something being in the groundwater, Florida, that causes all
this kind of mischief.
behavior.
Yeah.
It's not this kid's fault. It's Florida's fault.
Florida's fault.
He was fine through.
He hasn't seen better behavior in
Entire
Florida.
road
Yeah, Matt and Trey, blame Florida. Why don't you guys get to work on that? They have blame
Right.
Canada,
They do.
right? I think
Not
you
even
could
a real
pretty
country
much
anyway.
just swap Florida out for Canada, and you'd have the correct song.
That's right.
All right, let's do one more.
All right. Well, a high school principal in Florida has been removed after refusing to confirm that the Holocaust happened during an email to a parent last year. So the parent asked William Latson about how the curriculum at Boca Raton's Spanish River High School addressed the Holocaust. And he replied in part by saying, quote, not everyone...
Spanish River sounds like the best gay move any guy'd ever pull on you, right? What do you do? We did a rusty trombone or finished with the Spanish River?
Hilarious.
Oh, you finished with the Spanish River. I've always heard about
finish.
starting with the
I
Spanish
finished
River.
with that's my move.
Unconventional.
Yeah.
But
Dude
bold.
guy gave a pink eye and a staph infection when I was done with him, but I went full Spanish
it.
River on his ass.
Full Spanish River.
Yeah.
I like that.
So he said in this email, quote, not everyone believes the Holocaust happened, and you have your thoughts, but we are a public school, and not all our parents have the same beliefs, so they will react differently. I have the role to be politically neutral, but support all groups at the school. Latson, by the way, who's African-American, said he would deal with slavery the same way. The backlash came quickly when the comments recently came to light, spurring an investigation by the school district. And Latson hasn't been fired, but he's been reassigned.
Oh, boy.
You know,
Well, hold your ears, Ian, but this is why we can't let the blacks be principals. They're good at cleaning up, and
sure.
general maintenance,
Coaching.
Jesus.
coaching.
I'm right here, bro.
Right.
Band class.
I'm here- I
Go
can
ahead,
hear you.
knock yourself
I
out.
got the
but
headphones on.
principal.
a leader.
That's the head of the school.
Yeah, come on. Whose mistake was this?
Denying the Holocaust is tough because they still have the buildings
Yeah.
and stuff in
Structures
place,
are
right?
there. Bergen-Belsen, Auschwitz, they're
There
all
are
still there.
kids who were there.
Yes.
You know what I'd like to do? Ooh,
People still alive who were kids.
Ed Asner's a super Jew, but he denies 9/11.
Right.
He calls it a conspiracy theory. So what I'd like to do is get this principal over to Ed's place,
Oh.
and then he could sit down and explain to Ed, super Jew, why there was no Holocaust, and then super Jew
return.
Ed Asner would be super upset, and I'd go, how's it feel, bitch? How's it feel to have a nutty idea thrown your way that now affects you?
That's a good point.
You see, and you think this guy's nuts? Guess who thinks you're nuts for the whole 9/11 conspiracy? You see what it is? So, the Holocaust thing, I do feel this way with the Armenians and the Turks.
Yeah.
Like, the
And the
Armenians are
traffic
like,
that they cause
Oh, down Wilshire?
in my neighborhood.
there was a Holocaust, and the Turks are like, it was a mini-caust.
It's
Like, it wasn't really a
conflict.
Holocaust. Like, come on. We killed
Were there dead bodies? Yes.
several 100,000. Fine. But we're not talking full Holocaust, you know? And it's like, I don't know. If you're at the point where you have to deny a Holocaust,
We're
maybe there
arguing-
was,
Yeah,
maybe
something
there
there.
was a
Semantics
Holocaust.
of genocide.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of pisses me off about black people is that we don't play up slavery enough.
Yeah, you need to really.
We really
Drop that
we have
card.
not milked
Gotta lean-
slavery as much as we could have.
Lean in.
We should think about reparations.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
really. Yeah, like anytime somebody mentions a number from their Holocaust, we should just bring up numbers from slavery, just way more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a
Yeah.
one-upper.
Well, so.
And yeah.
And again, like, I know there's a lot of Holocaust deniers, like on the internet and stuff, and there's flat earthers, and we've never been to the mooners. Here's what I want to know. Why not buy into all?
Yeah,
You know
don't
what I
cherry
mean?
pick.
Like,
Pick and choose.
it's weird if you go, look, I'm a flat earther, but I'm not a nut job. I know there was a
Not like
Holocaust.
those crazy
They're
people.
cherry picking.
right?
Yeah, don't go a la carte. Go all in.
And here's
Right.
the problem with this principal's point of view. He's not denying the Holocaust. He's like, we're a public school. There are people who believe in our job is to
Yes.
both. Like, no, you're a school. Your job is to teach facts. There's facts and there's not facts. That's all you should be concerned about. Not representing crazy views.
But what is
That's the opposite.
What is the reference source for the Holocaust deniers? Like, what's their bibliography? Like, well, I look, I have aerial shots of Poland, 1942.
Yeah.
There's no camps.
Beautiful.
There's no where is your body of material?
Good
like,
question.
where do you present? Because if
Yeah, call us up tomorrow, guys, who are listening, and tell us the thesis of the Holocaust denial. You know what I mean?
because you have to go. I'm not saying there wasn't a man named Adolf Hitler, and I'm not saying that they didn't have camps, but those camps were detainment camps, and those ovens were for pottery. Or whatever.
Right.
Like,
Bread for the prisoners.
Those giant kilns and then a lot of wheels.
But there are people that say it never happened. It was a conspiracy that the Jews created. So they apparently they're out there.
The little I've heard, people say it's impossible to get rid of that many bodies.
Right.
That there's like a math problem with like the number of people that claim were dead.
Well,
that's what I heard.
All right.
At dinner last night, Brian?
No, it was more of a meeting. I mean, there was a heavy apps. I don't really call it dinner.
Well, and it's ironic that this happened.
I had to water my horse, so I missed that part of it, but I came back. Brian filled me in.
It is a little ironic that this happened in Florida because do you know how many old
And
Jews
Boca.
there are in South Florida? Yeah, in Boca
Maybe that's
Raton.
why he doesn't
and
believe it.
survivors
Yeah.
in
It's like,
Boca
it's
Raton.
like so many Jews here.
Yeah.
How could it have happened?
Oh, wow.
You swing a
Wow.
dead cat,
They're
you hit
everywhere.
a Jew. There's no way
Yeah.
these people could have been eliminated.
They had a
did
bad
not think
time.
of it that way.
That's
No.
impossible.
Good point.
Yeah. All right. So what's he doing? Is he keeping his job?
He's been reassigned.
boy.
He's probably in the rubber room where they put the teachers when they don't know what to do with them.
All right. Did we bring it on home?
We'll do it right now. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
The search continues.
We got another burnout. Is this the Winter Nationals? Oh, you know what they have in Florida? The Gator
Ooh,
Nationals.
of course they do.
That's
Hilarious.
right. That's where the Big Daddy Don Charlotte's Burnout Museum is. Boy, do they hate the environment. They are so angry at the environment. Hey, buddy, Big Daddy Don Charlotte's going to be down there at the Gator National. Some go, some blow. Liquid nitromethane. Drop it on the ground, drop a match on it, stop on it, virtually nothing. Put it inside a 450 cubic inch Hemi head. Liquid dynamite. Qualification 12 nudes, elimination under the line. All right. Those were the commercials from my youth. But they don't have any of those online anymore, do they? They don't really have like the old good 70s ones. The internet's weird because they have everything and then sometimes they have nothing.
If they were local, but it's harder to find. You know what I mean? But there's less of them out there because you'd have to have like a VHS tape running.
Right.
Coincidentally, recording MASH or whatever.
When we were recording Kevin and Bean, and we used to do it in Manhattan once a year for the MTV Music Awards, and we go to the Radio and Television Museum, and we'd go broadcast there, like on the third floor or something. And me and Jimmy and Kevin and Bean would go there, and we'd be broadcasting on the third floor. Like the second floor was like all the archives, and I was just like hanging out, and I'd be like, I want to watch Chico and the Man. I haven't seen Chico and the Man since it was on TV, and they'd go get an episode of Chico and the Man, and
in your little booth.
yeah, and I'd say to him,
cool.
hey, I want to see Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell. And they went, oh, we don't have any of that. And I was like, no,
Most successful show in the last
Howard
50 years?
They didn't
Cosell.
consider that
No,
TV?
I don't know. They're just like, we don't have that.
Highest rated show in the last 50 years?
I just remember being surprised. All right, last but not least, Castrol Edge Fluid Titanium Technology. Nothing better than the best. That is Castrol Edge and Meme Gods and Mad Magazine. We're doing our crowd raise. You can be a producer on this, and it's an investment. You don't just get a T-shirt or perks, and you can go to microventures.com/Adam and learn more about that. I'm doing live stand-up everywhere, so you just go to adamcarolla.com for that. Ian Edwards, the special, very innovative, very funny, thought-provoking Ian Talk, Ideas Not Worth Spreading. It is this Friday at midnight on Comedy Central. And the podcast, Soccer Comics Rant. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Soccer Comic Rant.
Oh, that's good. Oh, not plural
Right.
at the end. Should have got into that. Well, next time we'll get into that. That's
Yeah.
available on Apple Podcast and All Things Comedy. And the website, IanEdwardsComedian.com. And let's see, what else are we missing here? You can check out Good Sports coming up next. My stand-up special, Not Taco Bell Materials, available as we speak. And Laughs with Bald Brian. And you can get tickets at laughswithbaldbrian.com. Yeah. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Ian Edwards, Gina Grad, and Bald Brian. Say it. Mahalo.
That's just a waste of my time. 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 That's just a waste of my time.
Stick around. Dave Damashek and Adam Carolla coming up with today's episode of Good Sports right after this. Show on Twitter at Adam Carolla Show. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Carolla. You can leave us a voicemail at 888-634-1744. Subscribe to Carolla Classics with producer Chris Laxamana and superfan Giovanni. That's every Saturday. Tickets and info on all the live podcasts, Mangry events, books, movies, and more. Go to AdamCarolla.com and come out to the Booze and Book Club Thursday night at 10 in downtown Los Angeles with me and FBI undercover agent Mike McGowan. Stay tuned for AP News. Again, everything else at AdamCarolla.com.